Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is a watershed moment in Indian sporting history. Never have we seen such celebrations for our athletes who represent India. Never outside cricket have we ever witnessed such frenzy and mobbing of our sportspersons. Something has changed forever, ladies and gentlemen. Whether it was our 32 hockey superstars who brought together a nation, or the wrestling duo from Haryana who subdued their opponents with grit and gumption, we can take nothing away from Lavlina Borgohain and the lone athlete from Assam who boxed her way into history, succeeding on the footsteps of Mary Kom. And how can we forget the man who added the spectacular golden sheen to India's tally, Neeraj Chopra, who hurled the javelin to make it to history books. Tonight, India is indebted not just to the medalists, but to the entire contingent that represented India with pride, honesty, integrity, sincerity, and hard work. Now, it's the time to consolidate on these laurels. It's the time we start preparing for Paris 2024. How can we better our tally? What needs to be done? We will discuss that with our experts right after this report.
Don't be mistaken. This thronging outside the Delhi International Airport is not for our cricketers. It is to celebrate our gallant sportspersons who are returning from Tokyo with India's best ever haul in an Olympic Games. As Golden Boy Neeraj landed and his flight taxied at the airport, he wouldn't have imagined the reception awaiting him. Slowly, when the players started trickling in, celebrations peaked outside the airport as news reached of their arrival.
When India won World Cup, I was in Mumbai. I was covering that march, till Wankhede Stadium. And this is the second time in my life that I'm seeing thousands of people gathered here to cheer up the sportsmen.
Times now tracking the arrival of players outside the airport as they pose for photographs. Our crews following the champions as they made way to Ashoka Hotel, where they were about to be felicitated. But Times Now cameras zooming in on one particular vehicle that had a golden sheen.
पार्ट स्पोर्ट्स का लेकिन कभी हिम्मत नहीं छोड़ी थी। हाँ, मेहनत करते रहे और आज
अभी कैसा लग रहा है? अभी कैसा लग रहा है? क्या बता सकते हैं? अभी क्या बता सकते हैं?
कैसा हो रहा है? अच्छा लग रहा है कि सभी का
अभी आप गोल्ड जीते, एक बार गोल्ड दिखा पाएंगे? एक बार गोल्ड मेडल दिखा पाएंगे?
भारत के लिए क्या करेंगे?
गोल्ड मेडल देख रहे हैं आप?
स्पोर्ट मिल रही है और ऐसे ही करते रहिए और हम और ज्यादा मेहनत करेंगे और भी मेडल आपसे हम बिल्कुल उम्मीद कर रहे हैं सर। थैंक यू जी, थैंक यू।
Wrestler Ravi Dahiya and Bajrang Punia getting nothing short of a rockstar welcome as they were mobbed by fans on their way outside the airport. The focus soon shifting to the Hotel Ashoka, where the stage was set for a grand celebration of Indian sport. Our hockey warriors, both men and women, being celebrated for their outstanding run at the games.
सभी का धन्यवाद, जितना प्यार और सम्मान दिया है। आज देख कैसा लग रहा है जैसे दोबारा से मेडल जीता है देश के लिए।
हम लोग मेडल इंडिया के लिए लेके आ रहे हैं, सब कितना इंडिया के लिए मतलब शेयर कर रहा है, तो बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है। लेकिन हमारा बस यही कोशिश रहेगा कि आगे भी ऐसे देश के लिए मेडल लाते रहूं और देश का नाम रोशन करते रहूं।
ये एक सब परिवार का सपोर्ट की वजह से हम लोग जीत पाता है एंड थैंक यू वेरी मच। अभी आपको पता है कि हम सब एक परिवार है और जब हम मेडल जीत के वापस इंडिया आता है, ये एक इंडिविजुअल का मेडल नहीं है, देश का मेडल है।
मैं सबसे पहले तो ये दिखाना चाहूंगा गोल्ड मेडल ये मेरा नहीं, पूरे इंडिया का है। और मैं उस दिन से ही अपनी जेब में लेके घूम रहा हूँ मेडल को।
Yes, it's time to soak in all the highs of India's best ever Olympic haul. But we must set our sights on Paris in 2024. Can India step up its game? That is what we will be asking from tonight. Bureau Report, Times Now.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is New India. And the legitimate question in New India is, how can India better Tokyo in Paris 2024? That's the question. And all celebrations of our heroes on the other side. And joining me tonight, Anu Rani, who is the first Indian female to reach the finals of women's javelin throw event in World Athletic Championships in 2019, and that was in Tokyo Olympics 2020. Also joining me tonight, Ashwini Nachappa, former international athlete and Olympian. Prasoon Joshi, poet, lyricist, songwriter, and somebody who's penned down the words of our new sister channel, Times Now, Nav Bharat, giving us the tagline of Ab badlega Bharat, banega Nav Bharat. And that's the spirit of India that we're celebrating, because this is New India. Also joining me tonight is Vishwanathan Anand, Indian chess grandmaster and former world chess champion, who's on the show. Vishwanathan Anand, this is a new inflection point in Indian sports, do you think? Not that anybody is running down cricket, not that we, revere our cricketers any less, but the fact is that our dimensions of sports have just increased. We're looking at sports beyond cricket, because between 1980 and 2021, somewhere we'd forgotten the other sports, because there was not so much glory attached to it, not so many medals coming in. And now we look at all of these events, look at the different fields in which we've made a mark. 48th in rank, but a spirit soaring high as far as Indian sports is concerned. How do you see this performance in India, this performance of India in the Olympics 2020?
Well, you're exactly right. It's not a question of cricket. It's not a zero-sum game. All sports can grow very well. And what we have done is simply expand the number of sports in which we are competitive. Especially the Olympics was a big challenge. And this gives us a lot of hope for the future. I mean, this is not the end, it's the beginning. And we should now try to build on this. But if you remember, London was a good Olympics for us. After London, Rio was disappointing, but now I think we can put Rio behind and look to the future. On top of that, it's wonderful that we have won medals in many disciplines we didn't expect to win, or we haven't won for a long time. Hockey, athletics, legendary, and our gold. So there's just so much good news that I think this allows us to look to the future with confidence.
Anu Rani, I want to ask you, javelin throw 2020 finalist. Today, Neeraj Chopra brings the gold home. Do you think this is the new beginning of the way our country will look at sports, whether it's from the point of view of training, or whether it is from the point of view of just being more competitive, more professional about the way we've gone about training for sports? Do you think this really is a new turning point? Anu Rani ji?
जी मैम, ये काफी अच्छा। मेरे को मैम आपका फेस नहीं दिखाई दे रहा है।
आप बोलिए, आपको पूरा भारत देख सकता है।
जी गुड इवनिंग मैम, पहले तो सभी को मेरी तरफ से नमस्कार। और मैम यही है कि मतलब अभी जैसे जैसे मतलब फैसिलिटी वगैरह मिलनी स्टार्ट हुई है एथलेटिक्स में, ऐसे ऐसे मतलब परफॉर्मेंस वगैरह आनी स्टार्ट हुई है। और जैसे कि मतलब और ये भी एक प्लस पॉइंट है कि मतलब अगर एक प्लेयर भी ओलंपिक्स में मेडल लेके आता है तो सभी लोग बहुत ज्यादा मोटिवेट होते हैं। पहले क्या होता था कि हम लोग सोचते थे कि मतलब हमें इतनी फैसिलिटी नहीं मिलती है और बाहर वाले लोग मतलब इतना मेडल लेके जाते हैं, लेकिन जैसे एक बंदा भी मेडल लेके आता है ना, हम तो मतलब काफी लोग मोटिवेट होते हैं। तो उसी का ये कारण है कि हम लोग इंस्पायर हो रहे हैं एक दूसरे प्लेयर को देख के और अच्छा कर रहे हो। जैसे कि अभी फैसिलिटी है मतलब एथलेटिक्स में काफी मतलब इम्प्रूव हुई है, जैसे कि JSW हो गया, टॉप्स हो गया, OGQ हो गया, ये मतलब हमारी बहुत हेल्प करते हैं हम, क्योंकि पहले हमारे पास फिजियो भी नहीं होते थे, अच्छे कोच भी नहीं होते, तो ये भी एक रीजन था कि हमारी परफॉर्मेंस नहीं आ पाती थी। तो अभी मैम काफी अच्छा हो रहा है और मतलब रिजल्ट भी देखो सबके सामने आ रहे हैं। तो यही है कि पहले क्या होता था कि सिर्फ क्रिकेट को ही जानते थे, क्रिकेट को ही मतलब फैसिलिटी वगैरह सब दी जाती थी। तो अभी क्या है मतलब जैसे जैसे हम लोग को फैसिलिटी मिल रही है, हम लोग भी काफी अच्छा कर रहे हैं और रिजल्ट मैम सबके सामने है अभी।
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल सही कहा आपने। एंड formal training, professional training, I think makes the difference between having participated and between bringing up winners out of this. I want to ask you, Vishwanathan Anand, I know a time when you used to visit your aunt in Goa, and I know that how much at that time we heard stories about you from your aunt, who used to teach children maths, who were going to school. And she would give them this example that my nephew Vishwanathan is training for chess. So either you have to be tops or you have to then study in school. You had to do a lot of this in your growing up years on your own before success made it possible for you to get high level coaching. I want to ask you, what is it that it takes for sports of these kinds, where coaching plays such an important role to make it to the cutting edge level?
Sports is developing very fast, especially sports science, training methods, technology. All these things are evolving very fast. And if we don't have the structural support, the financial support to have access to the latest training methods, we're going to fall behind very fast. But there's been a very positive trend that over the last 10, 12 years, many organizations have come forward, and they also work constructively with the government. So the Sports Authority of India has the scheme TOPS, but you also have foundations like Olympic Gold Quest, which support a lot of athletes, and they coordinate and make sure that their work is not duplicated. And the main focus is, what do the athletes need? Do they have the best training possible? Do they have all the support they need when they travel, when they're in different climates, practical details, things like that? And are they measuring up to the world's best? Because the biggest change for India is that our aspirations have gone up. Our sports people are no longer happy with just turning up at the Olympics. Some of them are so disappointed to win a bronze or even a silver. So that tells you just how much aspirations have changed. And that, combined with training, everyone working together, we are creating the basis for a lot of progress. But like I said, this was just the first step, and now we have to build for succeeding Olympics. Now we should aim for double-digit tally. From 7, it would be really nice to go to 10, and so on. So this gives us
true. Ashwini Nachappa.
Last few Olympics, and progress is not smooth.
True. Ashwini Nachappa, have facilities changed? Has the outlook changed? Have aspirations changed over the last decade or so in the manner in which we're looking at sports training and making, professional medal winners out of our amateur sportsmen?
I think what you saw today, just receiving our athletes, was unprecedented. This has never happened in Indian sport other than cricket. And I would just like to say Tokyo was an eye-opener. It's turned a new leaf. It wasn't Rio, it wasn't the London Olympics. I think this has turned a new leaf. And I rightly agree with Anand when he says, how do we move forward? The important thing is now to move forward with direction after analyzing and consolidating what we have done today. And I think if we can have that roadmap, in a more professional manner. The difference, why did Neeraj win a gold medal? Look at the caliber of the coach. And without that kind of training, the science and technology put in it, it would not have been possible. Definitely not. And it goes to all the team members across disciplines. So there needs to be science, technology there, but we also need to have the kind of coaching training so that we have a pool of athletes. Only when the base of our pyramid is large.
True.
We need to have a lot more to do right now, and this has been a very, very positive Olympics. It has brought out emotions from the entire nation. I mean, and it's for the very, very first time that you have seen a government having such interest on every single athlete that went there, before as well as after, and they are monitoring it. So I think we need to play a more constructive role at the base, with all the support system. And each of these athletes have done well. I personally believe it's because of the support from their families, which have stayed on through this journey of tough times.
Absolutely, absolutely. And let me get in the writer of Bhag Milkha Bhag, Prasoon Joshi, who's joining me on the Newshour tonight. Prasoon, when we were ideating about our new channel, we talked about this. Ab badlega Bharat, banega Nav Bharat. Is this the new India? Is this the aspirational India? Is this the passionate India? Because Kiran Rijiju said today, while felicitating all the sports persons, he said, ये मेडल जो है ये सिर्फ सोने या चांदी या कांसे से नहीं बने हैं, ये बना है खून, पसीने और आंसुओं से. और आज आपने एक पोएम भी लिखी है, एक कविता भी लिखी है. आज जो हमने देखा, at one level, it was happiness unlimited. At another level, I think many Indians would have had tears in their eyes, because all of us know what it takes for these, young sportsmen, the kind of hardships their families have gone through to bring them up to this stage. And that is the new India.
Yes, I think, I think we are, from what I sense today is that, and what the whole nation is talking about today, is a kind of a reaffirmation of the fact that sports is not only now by chance. We probably somewhere deep down have started believing that success in sports can also be by design. By design, what I mean is that, any system, if only celebrates the exceptional, it can't be called this, the success of the system. Because unless you push more people to become exceptional, see, exceptionality can't be by chance. ये जादू नहीं है कोई हो जाएगा और हम लोग सब खुश हो जाएंगे. I think today we must realize, and I think we, as somebody said before, I think there is a constructive approach. You can see whether it's from the government or from the society, from the audience as well. I think people are appreciating efforts also, apart from just success and medal. That is also something which has to be noticed. There is a subtle change there. Earlier, people just bothered about whether you have got metal, whether bronze, silver, gold has come to the country or not. Today, people are also getting into the nuance, the narrative of the games. And I think that's a very good sign. That's a sign of new India, which is taking interest in sports, not only because it has suddenly woken up to sports, it has woken up to its own confidence that it can do. It's not only evident in sport. Many other fields you'll see today, whether be it science, be it education for girls, you're seeing there is a huge amount of passion which is being celebrated. And I think we will have to not stop here and just be happy about the fact that we have won today. I think we will have to collectively try and make these other sports, other than the ones which are lucrative for career and commercially success, because people have to survive. It can't be just a success of a few. As I said, see, exceptionality तो किसी भी रूप में खुद राह बना लेगा, बहता हुआ पानी है, ये कह के हम लोग बहुत खुश हो जाते हैं और ये कहानियां सुन के बहुत खुश हो जाते हैं कि इसमें कितनी मुश्किलों से इस व्यक्ति ने ये सक्सेस पाई है, और उसकी कहानियां सुन के बहुत खुश हो जाते हैं. लेकिन कहीं उसके पीछे एक सत्य होता है कि ये तो व्यक्ति अपना रास्ता बना लेता. क्या हमने एक ऐसा सिस्टम अब तैयार कर दिया है जिसमें ऐसी और कहानियां बाहर निकले, उन लोगों की कहानियां जो शायद एक स्टेप पहले गिव अप कर देते हैं किसी वजह से, शायद उनको उतना उनके अंदर जज्बा नहीं होता कि एंड उसको उन लोगों तक भी एक्सेप्शनैलिटी पहुंच सके. तो देयर इज अ सर्टेन अटेम्प्ट, and then only I will call the system successful when more.
So Vishwanathan Anand, what do you think we still need to do at a consistent level, to look at Tokyo, after Tokyo, Paris 2024? And that struggle will have to begin today. That training will have to begin today, because in any case, 2020 was concluded in 21. So we've got 3 years to train for it. What do you think as a nation we need to do?
I would say more of the same. What we have been doing, do it more, do more of it, do it more consistently. And there are no guarantees, but our athletes are showing that they're perfectly capable of picking up the baton and running. So what we have done, build on it and keep supporting them. They'll go for training, support that. Their health, their nutrition, all these things have to be taken care of. But if you give them the support, then they're able to excel. Also, what was wonderful was not only the 7 medals we won, but the women hockey team, Aditi, Kamalpreet. I mean, just so many more could have happened. So I feel really there's a kind of snowball effect happening already, and we should just do a lot more of the same.
Lot more of the same. And Prasoon Joshi, you've written a poem for our Olympians today. Why don't you recite that for our viewers and for our heroes who've come back today? Because, we just hope that today we are celebrating them. Tomorrow we should not forget them, and they should not just, go back to their ordinary lives. We have to keep encouraging them, because some of them in their 20s, they have probably a chance even in Paris. We will need to keep our eyes on them. We will need to keep encouraging them and making them go forward, because this is just the beginning. Why don't you recite the very motivational poem that you've written for them?
Yeah, so this poem is, of course, not talking about the nitty-gritties of what we need to do. This is just as kind of a salute or to the spirit, and that is what the essence of it is. एक आसमां कम पड़ता है, एक आसमां कम पड़ता है और आसमां मंगवा दो. एक आसमां कम पड़ता है और आसमां मंगवा दो, हैं बेसब्र उड़ाने मेरी पंख ये नीले रंगवा दो. स्वप्न करोड़ों सत्य हो रहे, अब उनका सत्कार करो. निकल पड़ा है भारत मेरा, अब तुम जय जयकार करो. जाग गया विश्वास हमारा, अब खुद को पहचाना है. नस नस लोहा तार लिए अब जीत का राग सुनाना है. एक समंदर कम पड़ता है, एक समंदर कम पड़ता है और समंदर फैला दो. तूफान भी झुककर कह देंगे, अब तुम सागर पार करो. निकल पड़ा है भारत मेरा, अब तुम जय जयकार करो.
बिल्कुल, एक आसमान भी कम है, समुद्र भी कम है, तूफान आएंगे, रास्ते में कई रुकावटें आएंगी, लेकिन भारत निकल पड़ा है। अब ये भारत रुकेगा नहीं। ये भारत, इसकी दौड़ नव भारत तक। India to new India, the aspirational India, the achiever India. And that's what today's takeaway feeling really is from celebrating these heroes. That we are not only people who hope and pray, we are a country of people who achieve and who will go from strength to strength, from Tokyo to Paris. The sky is the limit for us. Thank you very much to my panelists for joining me on debate number 1. Taking a short break, debate number 2 coming up on the other side.